one of the links, if you put in internment specialist Army, or just National Guard internment specialist, you can actually go to nationalguard.mil. But doesn't matter. We'll show folks. That's good enough. I mean, they're really gearing up. The new economy is the police state. All the major new grants and scholarships are for this. Just everything's converting to private security firms and prisons and cameras owned by a few government cronies. I mean, I guess the government's not happy to just ship in the heroin and cocaine and put all our kids in prison and rape us and steal all our money. I mean, now they've got to just totally make everything a big prison.
Well, it looks that way to me, especially with this agenda that I'm looking at here for this conference next week. It'll just be interesting to see who from the government is there. Even if I can't get in, I'm going to be hanging around the hotel lobby to just check those name tags, because one thing about this town is they have a tendency to issue name tags for these conferences, and of course you look under the name and you can often spot what agency they're with.
Well, I know you're there at the press club talking to all these other reporters and talking to intelligence people. What's the skinny on what's coming in the fall?
Well, the anticipation, there's actually a few threads going right now. There's this fear, that we're going to see a surge here in North America with the swine flu, but also there's talk about being the end of September, of course, is the end of the fiscal year, and with the beginning of the new fiscal year, October the 1st, I'm hearing rumors about the economy may not recover when the commercial real estate market collapses on top of the private housing market. We may see more banks go under, and there's talk about potentially a bank holiday. How long it's going to last, I don't know, but just bank closures, an order from the executive branch to close banks across the country. It happened during the Depression. Franklin Roosevelt did it, and I'm hearing that it may happen again.
When we come back, I found it. If you just Google internment specialist by itself, the first link is goarmy.com. People may have heard of it. It's called the U.S. Army. It's the biggest military in the world. I assure you it exists. Goarmy.com. Now, I know popular science will say the Army doesn't exist next and there's no FEMA camps, but it's all over the news. There it is. Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones, and I want each of you to ask yourself this question. Do you really know what's in your tap water? In a recent study conducted by a major environmental auditor, they found that over 260 chemicals and pollutants are present in municipal drinking water. Many of these chemicals are directly linked to cancer, reproductive, immune, and developmental system diseases. Now, what are you going to do about it? The Ecola Blue atmospheric water generator is a low-cost way to take back control of you and your family's drinking water. The Ecola Blue 28 produces up to 7 gallons of water from the humidity in the atmosphere and uses state-of-the-art carbon filtration, reverse osmosis, and ultraviolet light sterilization techniques. That's right, clean water right from the air you breathe. Order today by calling 1-800-691-6043. That's 1-800-691-6043. Or visit Ecola Blue on the web at www.ecoloblu.com today. That's ecolablue.com.
Specialty Internment Resettlement Specialist. This MOS plays an integral role in providing a uniform system of handling prisoners and detainees. First and always, these MPs are combat support soldiers trained to fight. Then also trained as internment resettlement specialists to control and supervise detainees, to ensure their humane treatment, and to assist them in returning to a productive life. For this job, the Army will train you to use specialized equipment to monitor activity, to conduct searches, and to inspect areas where prisoners work and live. Here, you'll train to in-process prisoners and detainees, and to brief them on their rights. In addition, you'll train to inventory and secure their property, take photographs and fingerprints, issue personal items, and assign cells. You'll train to conduct prisoner formations and roll calls, to monitor their exercise, recreation, and work areas, to prepare and maintain records, and develop written reports. After your initial entry training and advanced individual training, you'll work long hours, day or night, in a garrison or field environment. where you may practice emergency procedures, detect and confiscate contraband, and escort prisoners outside the facility. Serving in this MOS can help you transition from the military to the civilian employment sector.
That's enough.
In the Military Police Corps, you'll be...
Now, again, this all has dual use, but I've been to the training ops. It is for American citizens, and you notice escorting you outside the base. They have the Civilian Inmate Labor Camp program, secret from 86 to 97. Clinton made it declassified. Secret that American citizens were used as slave labor at bases. Here, let's just Google Civilian Inmate Labor Camp program for everybody. You know, for those out there in denial, this has been going on. Does that creep you out, Wayne, that they could keep these camps with citizens on them secret for a decade?
Well, I mean, this whole issue of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the FEMA has never operated in a very transparent mode. Even going back to the Reagan years, they called FEMA the secret government, and there's a lot of truth to it because they have, they have these facilities around the country. You're not allowed to go on these facilities and see what's happening. But the reports are there about the number of these large detention centers that have been built up around the country. I remember the first time I heard about this was somebody in Kern County, California, said he started, on his way to work every morning, noticed this camp was getting larger and larger. There was nobody in it yet, but they kept increasing the number of beds that this particular camp called the Kern County Center could keep, how many prisoners they could keep. So, I mean, that's one of several around the country, but we don't know. The government's not very forthcoming with information about why these camps are there.
And just to be clear, I have the 2005 on screen right now. We'll keep scrolling through that. You've got these back to 1986 declassified, so you find out more in each one. The 1997 declassification admitted that they kept federal prisoners at these and brought them as slaves, and the Army ran them as slaves and then would pimp them out for slave labor around towns. So this is the new America. Our new job is having an illegal alien who is in the military. That's our new force, commanding a citizen around who had a crooked toenail or something. That's the new. I have articles right here where school teachers are given $22,000 fines for using a cell phone in class. See, we're all prisoners now. Wayne Madsen.
Well, I don't see it getting any better. I mean, the people I know who voted for Obama and thought there was going to be a change, I hear the term buyer's remorse quite a bit. I know people who were candidates for president are hearing the same thing. So, I mean, it's where's the change? I don't see much in the way of
I
any
agree.
change.
I want to show people from General Shoemaker's 2005 document, Civilian Inmate Labor Programs, right here on screen, providing a source of labor at no direct cost to Army installations to accomplish tasks that would not be possible otherwise due to the manning and funding constraints under which the Army operates. Slave labor. These are not guys that punch their drill instructor in the nose. These are state and federal prisoners. And this is going to be you and your family. Okay? Sorry, Wayne, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we're now hearing about Blackwater and these revelations made by these two former Blackwater employees about what was going on at the camps in Iraq that they were running.
I got to stop you. Hold on, Wayne. I'm glad you brought that up. Take your time, then we're going to get into the whole birther thing. Let me stop right there. Start over, because you have a lot of sources. Time Magazine, for those that don't know, The Nation, and Raw Story and others have big reports that the FBI is saying this. It's in the federal documents that Blackwater was, killing its own employees to cover up arms dealing. And that's what you had said, that they and others, well, you'd said Merck's had been caught. And then actually Ray McGovern, former top CIA analyst for Ronald Reagan and George Bush Sr., said that Merck's, he wouldn't say who, were caught bringing weapons in and actually staging attacks on the troops. Because it's $1 trillion war, you got to keep it going and have an excuse to stay there. So, go through the Blackwater revelations, the slave children they're raping, the wife swapping, the murders, whether your intel is, how bad it is. But the key here that the media just mentioned as a footnote, were they smuggling arms to in Iraq? Wayne Madsen.
Well, part thought in Iraq smuggling weapons that were winding up in the hands of the Kurds, and it's thought from the Kurds they wound up in the hands of the PKK, an organization that Turkey considers as to be a terrorist organization, an organization the United States considers to be a terrorist organization. So this is all this, keeping this part of the world at each other's throats, killing each other. There's profit in that, and companies like Blackwater and other companies, there's hundreds of them like Blackwater, they're one of the big ones, are all involved in this same business. It's War Incorporated, and the U.S. is trying to get extradited from Thailand this Russian named Victor Bout, who they're accused of being the merchant of death. But we've got a few of them over here, too. I wonder what would happen if somebody asked for the extradition of Eric Prince, the CEO of Blackwater, now called V. They changed their name to protect the guilty. I would imagine we would not want him extradited overseas to stand trial in some place like Iraq or Afghanistan.